Most Spanish learners get stuck when they try to talk about the past using ER and IR verbs. They've mastered the AR pattern, but now all of a sudden things feel different. Today I'd like to simplify that. By the end of this lesson, you'll be using verbs like comprender, recibir, and vender in the past tense without even thinking, using a simple pattern. Plus, a Colombian father-son duo will help us remember this pattern forever. Vamos. Here's our roadmap. We have 3 stops plus our song from Colombia. Here's what you already know. AR verbs in the past tense. You remember the e ending for yo, causé, and the o ending for our third person singular and the usted form, causó. The ER and IR verbs follow the same logic. For the yo form, we have y, and for the third person singular, we have yo. Here the endings apply to 11 highly useful verbs. Many of these are cognates. You already know comprender, escribir, and vender. Let's go through these in the yo form. Say these along with me. And make sure you're stressing that last letter because that's where the past tense understanding is conveyed. Comprendí, decidí, dependí, escribí, interrumpí, ofrecí, permití, recibí, resolví, vendí, viví. Once more, this time with the third person singular, and remember that's our 2-for-1 conjugation that also works for you in the respectful usted form. Read these along with me and we'll hit that stress on that last letter. Comprendió, decidió, dependió, escribió, ocurrió, ofreció, permitió, recibió, resolvió, vendió, vivió. There's a 41 verb challenge waiting for you. Madrigal expects you to cover up the answers and conjugate all of these verbs in the blink of an eye. There's a link to that challenge below. But for now, let's get to our song to help us cement this pattern. Today we're traveling to Colombia, and our singers are Jhonny and Andy Rivera, a father and son duo. Their song, Comprendí que te perdí, is packed with our conjugation pattern. You can see here some additional information about this song. Here are the lyrics. You can see our past tense verbs have their endings in red. The first line says, I promised to change and the change never arrived. Prometí cambiar y el cambio no llegó. Llegó is also in past tense. That's an AR verb, so that's why it just ends with o, llegó. They repeat the chorus twice. The first 2 lines of the chorus have our grammar focus. In English, he says, now I understood that I lost you. Now I understood it, my love. So let's read that in Spanish. Ya comprendí que te perdí. Ya lo comprendí, mi amor. The next 2 lines are in the present tense, and he goes on to explain what he understood. He says that I'm worth nothing to you, that I'm not even your friend. So in Spanish, he says, que nada valgo para ti, que ni tu amigo soy. I'd also like to point out one other little grammar note here where he says, ya lo comprendí. This lo is a pronoun, and it means it, okay? We'll learn more about that later on, but when we see these little pronouns in the songs, it's helpful just to take note of them. All right, let's listen. Vamos a escuchar.
Prometí cambiar y el cambio no llegó. Ya comprendí que te perdí, ya lo comprendí, mi amor. Que nada valgo para ti, que ni tu amigo
Did you catch it? Comprendí, perdí. Every E is your signal. You're hearing it in real music and your brain is locking it in. Now let's put that pattern to work in the Spin and Speak challenges. So in our first Spin and Speak challenge, we're using the verbs recibir and escribir to ask and answer questions. So let's do a few examples. If I wanted to ask, did you receive a letter in the office? ¿Recibió usted una carta en la oficina? And if I wanted to ask, did you write an email this afternoon? ¿Escribió usted un email esta tarde? And I put a little asterisk here. The Real Academia Española, the governing body of the language, says that an email is acceptable in conversational and casual use, but the most formal correct word for email is un correo electrónico. And I put these words here because I changed it from Madrigal's original text because she was using the words telegram and cable, and nobody is sending those any longer. So please set the timer and see how many questions and sentences you can make in 1 minute. Go. Muy bien. Now let's switch to buying and selling. Did you notice comprar is an AR verb, so it keeps the e and o at the end. The pattern is clear. The endings are the signal. So if I wanted to ask, did you sell the house in Ecuador? ¿Vendió usted la casa en Ecuador? And you could answer, sí, vendí la casa en Ecuador. Or you could ask, did you buy the guitar last week? ¿Compró usted la guitarra la semana pasada? And you could answer, yes, I bought the guitar in the store. Compré la guitarra en la tienda. So you know what to do. Pause it here. Make as many sentences and questions as you can. And then how about this time in the comments, ask a question. And if you see somebody else's question, answer theirs. Let's continue to build our learning community. Vamos. Excelente. Great work. You've built this step by step, the pattern, the song, the speaking. Now it's time to flow. These dialogues use everything you've learned, so read along with me. This is just a quick heads up to some additional vocabulary that will appear in the dialogues. We have some places where, en el parque, or la tienda. What are we talking about? La música, la guitarra, sus experiencias, o una carta interesante. There are some additional words. De means from, and mucho can mean a lot. And you'll remember these adverbs, especialmente and afortunadamente. In the dialogue, you'll also see the expression muchas personas, which refers to many persons or many people. And just a note, this isn't in the book, but mucha gente is also many people. ¿Recibió usted una carta esta mañana? Sí, recibí una carta de un amigo en Ecuador. ¿Escribió su amigo la carta en español? Sí, mi amigo escribió en español. ¿Comprendió usted la carta? Sí, afortunadamente comprendí la carta. ¿Escribió su amigo una carta interesante? Sí, mi amigo escribió una carta muy interesante. ¿Escribió su amigo de sus experiencias en Ecuador? Sí, mi amigo escribió de muchas experiencias interesantes en Ecuador. ¿Fotografió su amigo a muchas personas en Ecuador? Sí, mi amigo fotografió a los actores, a los guitarristas y a muchas personas en general. ¿Describió su amigo las fiestas? Sí, mi amigo describió las fiestas. Escribió mucho de la música. especialmente de la música de guitarra. Notice here we had to put that personal before people. Excelentísimo. You're doing a great job. Give yourself a pat on the back. You just learned 11 new ER and IR verbs, and you translated them in the past tense using clear patterns. You heard them in a real Colombian song, you spoke them out loud, and you read full dialogues without translating. You are thinking in Spanish. Excelente. Remember to continue practicing using our Songs to Practice Spanish playlists. Please be sure to subscribe too, so you'll be notified when Chapter 15 comes out next Sunday. We'll begin to work with more advanced verbs that aren't necessarily cognates. You'll definitely want to be here for that. Thank you again for joining me here at Tentáculo, Clases y Cultura. Yo me llamo Kelly. Muchas gracias y nos vemos.